Hello friends, welcome to my channel Programming in Python with RSK. I am Rajendra Kulkarni. Friends, in this video we are going to see how decision control works in Python. Decision control using if, else, elif, pass and nesting of if-elses. So let us start our video. So what we are going to see in this slide is how if statement is used, how to use it in our program. You can see here there is a keyword if and it is followed by parenthesis in which condition is written and then there is a colon. This colon is a must, it is necessary. If there is no colon, the program will not get compiled, it will throw a error, compile time error. Condition must be in a parenthesis. Then there are number of statements, say statement 1 to statement n. These statements must be after indent. There must be an indent and that indent should be followed throughout all the statements which we want to execute for if getting executed when the condition becomes true. All these statements from statement 1 to statement n are called statements in a if block. This indent is necessary and it tells the compiler that whatever are the indented statements are if block statements. Then there is a statement n plus 1. The statements which we do not want to be part of if block must be written without an indent. So if and statement are of the same indent, their indent is matching. This tells the compiler that statement n plus 1 is outside the if block. When the program reaches if statement, the condition specified in the parenthesis is first evaluated. If that condition evaluates to true, if block statements are executed. So statement 1, 2, 3 up to statement n will be executed if condition is evaluated to true. A condition can be an expression or a conditional expression, a mathematical expression, a logical expression or a conditional expression. So when condition evaluates to true, the block of statement 1 to n are executed and then program control comes out of the if block and starts executing the statements n plus 1 and whatever other statements are there till there is a end of the program or there is some other condition such as if or else or a loop or whatever. When the condition evaluates to false, all the if block statements are skipped and a statement n plus 1 which is in line with if statement or if statement is executed. So whatever statements we want to execute and which are not to be executed as a statement of if block, those statements must be written outside the if block. And how we write it outside the if block? By matching its indent with the indent of if. Let us go for an example program. there is a shop which gives 10% discount over a certain amount of or certain number of items or quantity of items which are bought by the customer from the shop. The price of each item is 100. The program prompts the user to input quantity for two orders. Q1 is Q1 comma Q2 is equal to input, and their enter quantity for two orders will be appearing on our screen. Then there is a split function dot split which will cause the two values entered by the user to Q1 and Q2 respectively. So one value will be assigned to Q1, another will be assigned to Q2. As we know, input function takes all the inputs which have been given by the user as in the form of string. They are type str. So Q1 will get some kind of value which user has entered as a string, and Q2 will also be a string. Since we want these values to be in int form, we convert those values which are in str type to int type with these statements. Q1 is equal to int into the bracket Q1, Q2 is equal to int into the bracket Q2. Typecasting. Then there is a if statement. If Q1 is less than 25, and then there is a semicolon. So what we want to do here, if Q1 is less than 25, then we don't want price a discount to be given. So what we do is total is equal to Q1 into price, because there is no discount, and then this print statement displays the value or the amount to be paid for by the customer for the quantity he has purchased. If Q2 is more than 25, then there will be a discount of 10%, which is price underscore discount, price minus discount underscore 25, and then this print statement will output the total. Watch the indents. Indent must be present for if to consider those statements which are indented to be executed for if block. When I ran this program, I input two quantities 20 and 100. So when I entered 20, it is less than 25, so the total was 2000. In case of quantity being 100, there was the 10% discount applicable, so the total becomes 9000. So this is how if statement works. What we have done here, we have checked whether the quantity is less than 25 or it is more than 25. So this is a conditional arithmetic expression we have put here for executing the program. Another example. Now in this example we have taken math module as a import module for this program. This import math will cause math module to be binded to this program, so that we can use all the functionalities of math module which is already present as a part of Python. Then there is a variable theta which is equal to mat.radians into bracket 0. What this does is, a angle in 0 degrees is converted to radians, and the radian value of 0 is assigned to theta. Theta is a simple variable. Then this print statement gives the value of theta, which is in radians now. Now in this if statement we are not doing any comparison. What we are doing is, there is a mathematical expression mat.cos theta. If mat.cos theta evaluates to 1, this statement, this print statement will get executed, which will display cos theta is non-zero. Outside the if block, there is another print statement which will output the values of sin theta, cos theta and tan theta. Now this trunc is a function in math module which truncates the value appearing in the argument as an argument of this function. We want to do it because cos theta of 0 is having a very different value because of the type, the function which is in the math module. We don't want all that 1.000000001 values and all. We want only truncated value, so that all the things after all the numbers appearing after decimal point to a certain extent will be truncated. So the output is theta is equal to 0, cos of 0 radians is 1, and sin and tan is 0. Actually, if we didn't have truncated this mat.cos theta evaluated value, cos would have been displayed as 1.00000001 or something like that. It will not be exact 1. Then there are if-else statements in Python. There are how we use those if-else conditions in our program while writing the script of our program. If condition into the bracket, and then there is a colon, and there are statement 1, 2, 3. Then else and a colon and statement 4, 5, 6, and there statement 7. This statement 1, 2, 3 form the if block. It is only 1, 2, 3 here. It can be any number. There is no limit how much statement should appear as a if block statements, and there is no limit for else block statements to be limited to some certain number. We can put any number, whatever program requires. So statement 4, 5, 6 are else block statements. So there are two blocks now, if block and a else block. If condition state if block, else there is no condition. So if condition in if is true, statement 1, 2, 3 or the whatever are the number of statements in if block, those statements will be executed. If condition turns false, then else will execute and all the statements in else block will be executed by skipping if block statements. And after the if or else block is executed, either one of these, because if condition is true, if block will be executed, if it is false, else block will be executed. Then there is a statement number 7 which is outside the blocks of if and else, and there can be any number of statements after statement 7. Look at the indents. In both if and else there must be indents. The statements of block if must be indented and also the statement of else block must be indented, whereas else and if are at the same indent, their indent is same, and then the same indent is for statement which are outside the if block or else block. When program reaches if statement, the condition specified in the block is first evaluated. When condition is true, 1, 2, 3, these if block statements, here it is 1, 2, 3, it can be any number, will be executed. Statements in the else block will be skipped and directly the program will start executing from statement 7 which is outside the blocks of if and else. When condition evaluate to false, the statements in if block will be skipped, the statements in else block will be executed. So in this particular case 4, 5, 6, statement 4, 5, 6 will be executed, and then the statements which are outside the blocks if block and else block will be executed. In this case it will be statement 7. Let us see one example program. The same program which we did earlier for the if block, now we are doing it with a if else statements. Again, discount underscore 25 is 10, quantity is 0, price is 100. We ask for input the quantity and convert. Now in this case we are directly taking one input only, and that input which will be in str type will be converted to int type and assigned to quantity. So if quantity is less than 25, total will be quantity into price, else if quantity is not less than 25 or equal to 25, total will be quantity into price minus discount. And after if or else block is executed, we are giving print statement for total. So it will show us the total amount that has to be paid by the customer. Look the indents here, there is indent and then this much, another else indent. If and else are not indent, they are of the same indent as other program, and the statement which you want to execute outside the if and else block, they are also not indented. When I ran this program, I first input 24 as the quantity. So the total was 24 into 100, 2400. In second run of the program, I entered 100 as a quantity. So the total was calculated and displayed as 9000. So this is how if-else example program is working. We can nest the if-else if-else in Python. Nesting means in if-else statement, one if-else statement, we can embed another if-else statement. How that we can do is shown here. There is a variable tr underscore r1 is equal to 0, toll r2 is equal to 0. Then there is a input statement, enter traffic condition on route 1, h for high, low for low. tr r1 is a variable which captures the input given by the user in the which will indicate whether a particular route 1 traffic is high or low. This print statement will just display the input given by the user. Now this if tr underscore r1 is equal to L, which actually means in our program is if the traffic on route 1 tr underscore r1 in our program, it indicates route 1. If it is low, then naturally the program displays choose route 1 as the output. Else, if the traffic is not L or traffic is not low, if user enters H or high traffic on route 1, then the program tells the user or prompts the user that route 1 traffic is high. You can check route 2 after checking how much is the toll for route 2, because route 2 is a toll route, route 1 is non-toll route. So the program again prompts the user to enter the value for toll for route 2. Now see, in else statement we are nesting another if. If toll underscore r2 is less than 100, choose route 2. That means the program is telling that if toll is less than 100 and you want to see whether route 1 is to be taken or route 2, if toll is 100, less than 100, the route 2 should be your choice. Else, now this else belongs to this if, and the if belongs to this else. See the indenting. If and first else have the same indent, and then the nested if has an indent which is telling the compiler that it is a else block statement. If toll underscore rt is r2 is less than 100, choose route 2. Else route 2 toll is high, choose route 1. So here what we have done is these if else statements are nested in this else. When I ran this program, first input was H, which was telling that the route 1 traffic is high. Then program asked user to enter tall for root 2, which I entered as 121. The program output is R2 is high tall, choose root 1. Then there is a statement called elif. If condition 1, statements 1 to n minus 1 up to n minus 1. If condition 1 is false, there is a statement elif condition 2 and again a colon, and there are certain statements which belong to elif condition 2 blocks. Then there is a third elif or second elif with another condition and its own block of statements, else statement n plus 4. What all these elif statements are doing, if condition 1 is false, then it will check condition 2. If condition 2 is false, it will check condition 3. If both elif conditions and the if condition is false, this else will be executed. What happens if condition of the if statement condition 1 is true? All these elif and else will be skipped. If condition in if block condition 1 is false, then elif condition 2 will be executed. If condition 2 turns out to be true, then state 2, the elif 2 block, condition 2 block will be executed, and all other condition 3 and else block will be skipped. So in this kind of program, if condition, the first if it's true, if block will be executed and all other elif and else blocks will be skipped. If condition 1 is false and condition 2, 3 or else, this out of these three conditions, these three statements, the statement which is true, which turns out to be true for condition 2 and condition 3 will be executed. If all the three are false, else will be executed. The use of this, the program becomes readable and simple because we don't have to nest if else's for checking various number of conditions in our program. Indentation becomes simpler. When if condition 1 is false, elif condition 2 is evaluated. If it is true, elif 2 condition block is executed and elif condition 3 and else will be skipped. Let us go for one simple example of elif. There are two variables a and b. A is 10, b is 20. If a is greater than b, there is a simple statement print a is greater than b. Elif a is equal to b, print a equal to b. Elif a mod b is equal to 0, print modular division is not successful, else print a is less than b. In this case, output will be a is less than b because a greater than b is false, a equal to b is false, a mod b is false because a mod b will be 10. Now a mod b will evaluate to a value 10 which is not equal to 0. So this else A is less than B will be executed. In this program, again we are giving some conditions with change of values. Both A and B are 20 here now. If A greater than B, print A greater than B. Elif A equal to B, print A equal to B. Elif A less than B, print A less than B. Else print A is greater than B. Now in this case, elif A is equal to B will be true and print A equal to B will be the output of this program or this code, and if will be skipped because A not greater than B, and A less than B will be skipped because A is equal to B has been true. So other elif conditions and else condition will be, or these statements will be skipped. So what we get is A equal to B. Then there is a pass statement in Python which simply a statement or a which does nothing. Pass causes no execution. We can see here program did not execute or didn't give any output because else block was here, elif was wrong, false, A greater than B equal to B false, so else executed, but in else what is there is pass, it will not do anything, and so we don't get any output here. Then there are conditional expressions in Python. The form of conditional expressions is expression 1 if conditional expression, else expression 2. So if conditional expression turns out to be true, expression 1 will be evaluated. If conditional expression is false, expression 2 will be evaluated. Let us say a small simple program. Int A is equal to int input enter number. The program is prompting user to enter a number. Then we have status equal to E1. E1 is a string here. If A mod 2 is equal to 0, else status will be assigned with odd, and then this print status. Now let us see what happens when we enter a value. In the first run of the program, I entered 10. So A mod 2 is 0 is true. So the output is status. What status holds? Status will be holding E1 because A mod 2 is equal to 0 is true. In another run of the program, I entered in number 11. So the program output is odd because status will be assigned with expression 2 because the conditional expression is false, and hence expression 2 will be executed. So this is how if else, elif, pass and all and nesting of if else works in Python. Thank you for viewing. Please like, share and subscribe the channel if you like the video. Please subscribe to my channel Programming in Python with RSK. This is the link given here. If this link directly doesn't work, you can put this into the search bar so that you can get connected to my channel Python Programming in Python with RSK. Please subscribe to my another channel Programming in C with RSK, where I have already uploaded more than 50 or 55 videos, and I am always updating that channel with new videos. You can reach that channel with Rajendra Kulkarni 7333 as the channel ID. Thank you very much.